As you saw in the previous lesson, Inventor lets you create dimensions as you sketch geometry. This is really just for convenience, since dimensions and constraints can be added once you've sketched the basic shape. Dimensions and constraints play a critical role in defining the geometry. It's generally considered good practice to ensure that every sketch you create is fully constrained before moving on to create features. Let me show you what I mean. I'll first select the Circle tool and click anywhere in space to place the center of the circle, and click again to place the radius. Since I didn't add any dimensions when I placed the circle, it's completely unconstrained, which means I can click on the radius and drag freely to change the size, or click the center and drag freely to change its location. Dimensions and constraints are important because they help you precisely control the geometry with either values or relationships to other geometry. I'll activate the Dimension tool, click on the edge of the circle, and click once more to place the dimension on my screen. Once the dimension is placed, I'll type in the value and press Enter. If you want to move the dimension, first exit the Dimension tool, and then just click on the dimension. Hold your mouse button down and move the cursor. Now, remember a moment ago when I clicked on the edge of the circle and was able to drag it freely? If I try to do that now, it doesn't budge. That's because the dimension is now driving the geometry and is the basis for parametric modeling. In order to change the size, I must change the parameter, which in this case is the dimension. I can still, however, change the location of the center point of the circle. This is because Inventor wants you to tell it where the circle is located in relation to the origin, also called the center point in Inventor. Take a look at the status bar. It reports that 2 dimensions are needed in order to fully constrain this sketch. To relaunch the Dimension tool, I'll press Enter on the keyboard. Enter is the standard hotkey to relaunch the previous command, similar to AutoCAD if you're already familiar with it. Again, I'll click on the origin. And next, I can click anywhere on the circle and Inventor automatically dimensions to the center point. But how does it know if I want a horizontal or vertical dimension? The Dimension tool in Inventor is great because you can simply move your pointer and it will switch to the different dimension types. Or you can right-click while the tool's active and select horizontal or vertical manually. I'll place a vertical dimension and change its value. And when I'm finished, you can see in the status bar that 1 dimension is needed to fully constrain the sketch. I'll repeat the Dimension tool once more. And when I'm finished, Inventor reports that the sketch is fully constrained. So dimensions certainly help you control the geometry and constrain your sketches. In the next lesson, we'll look at how to use constraints that provide further parametric control using geometric relationships.